Derrick Henry just sent a message that's giving every Ravens fan chills. After a rough start to the season filled with losses, criticism, and doubt, the team seemed completely lost until now. Because what Henry said wasn't just a speech. It was a warning that something big might be about to change in Baltimore. And the most incredible part? This message wasn't for media or to show off. It was for the locker room, to reignite the spark that seemed to have gone out. The way he spoke, the tone, the words, everything shows that Henry truly believes a turnaround is still possible. And when a leader of his caliber speaks with that much conviction, it's impossible not to pay attention to what comes next. Derrick Henry knows the Ravens' start has been a nightmare. A team that began the year dreaming big now finds itself at 1-4, struggling to understand what went wrong. But instead of hiding, Henry chose to speak, and he did it with the kind of force only a true leader has. He looked at the group and made it clear, the season isn't over. Even with everything falling apart around them, he believes the team can still bounce back. The way he spoke showed more than simple optimism. Henry called for responsibility, focus, hard work, and unity. He said no one can let circumstances dictate the future, and that every player needs to do more, hold themselves and each other accountable. This isn't a speech just to pump people up. It's meant to provoke action. He isn't talking about empty hope. He's talking about action, about turning frustration into energy. And that's what makes the moment so symbolic. When the team is full of doubt, it's easy to lose direction. But Henry is trying to remind everyone that what happens now can define the rest of the season. He's not denying reality. He's facing it head-on. To him, the turnaround starts with mindset, with day-to-day effort, not just on Sundays. It's a message carrying the weight of experience from someone who's seen the impossible happen. At its core, Henry's message is simple. There's still time. Not time to dream, but time to react. He wants to see effort. He wants to see the team fight with pride, no matter the score. And even if many outside have already lost faith, there's still a voice inside the locker room saying it's worth continuing. And that voice now has a name and a number, Derrick Henry. But for this message to really take hold, the team needs to respond on the field. And that will be even tougher without the guy who carries the offense on his back. Lamar Jackson's absence has become a huge problem for Baltimore. When he's on the field, everything seems to flow. The offense clicks, the defense breathes, the team believes. But without him, what remains is a squad trying to find itself, struggling in almost every area. And the toughest part? He won't be back for a while, with his return scheduled only after bye week. Until then, the Ravens need to find a way to survive without their natural leader. And that's exactly where Henry's message comes in. The team can't wait for Lamar to bounce back. Now is the time for players to prove they can fight, even when the tide is against them. Henry knows this perfectly. He understands a quarterback's talent changes everything, but he also knows winning in the NFL requires more than one brilliant player. It requires attitude, commitment, and belief in the group. That's what he's trying to awaken in his teammates. The drive to compete even without the centerpiece of the offense. Lamar's absence isn't just technical, it's emotional. The team misses a guy who motivates, inspires, and can change a game with one improbable play. Without him, Baltimore needs new voices to step up, and Henry is trying to be one of them. His role goes beyond rushing yards. He has become the stabilizing force in a locker room that could easily get lost. And this leadership shift is what could keep the team together until the quarterback returns. While the offense tries to adjust and the defense fights not to collapse, a spirit of resilience is starting to become the new fuel. Henry wants to show that the group can be strong even without its biggest star, that the team can reinvent itself. And if this mindset sticks when Lamar Jackson returns, he may find a team that's more mature and better prepared to fight all the way. But before that, the Ravens need to prove they can respond in practice. And the first test of this new mentality comes at one of the toughest points of the season. The past few weeks have made it clear the Ravens still don't know who they are. The team that started the year full of confidence seems to have lost its essence amidst losses, injuries, and pressure. Inside the locker room, the mood is part accountability, part rebuilding. And that's why Derrick Henry's words ring out like a call. Rediscover your identity. Remember what this group represents. And remember what it means to play with a Baltimore badge on your chest. Henry talked about doing more, And that phrase says a lot. Doing more isn't about running faster or lifting heavier. It's about being sharper, more committed, more willing to carry the team when needed. He asked the leaders to truly lead, for teammates to hold each other accountable, and for Sunday mentality to reflect what the group practices every day. These might seem like small details, but they make the difference between a lost team and one that truly believes in itself. The challenge is turning words into reality. Words inspire, but wins prove it. And the Ravens locker room knows it's time to show that Henry's talk isn't just motivation, it's direction. The coming weeks will reveal if this team has truly absorbed the message. It's time to stop talking about potential and start showing results. And the game against the Rams is the first big test. Facing a balanced team led by Matthew Stafford and a tough defense, Baltimore will need more than technique. They'll need heart. This is where Henry's words must turn into action. Harder tackles, stronger runs, sharper focus. Because only then can Baltimore show it still has soul and won't give up easily. And if the team can respond, even with a hard-fought win, it could be the start of something bigger. The moment the locker room reconnects with its true identity.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video. But before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
At 1-4, the clock is ticking faster in Baltimore. Every game now carries weight, and one mistake could be season-ending. The problem is the team has very little room for error, and history shows how difficult it is to climb out a hole like this in the NFL. Few teams manage to recover after such a start, but that's exactly the mission the Ravens must face head-on. The matchup against the Rams has become more than just a game. It's a test of character. Without Lamar, with multiple defensive injuries, and a roster trying to regroup, nobody expects Baltimore to win. And that's where the team could surprise. Because sometimes when the pressure is at its peak, a team's true spirit emerges. Henry knows that, and that's why he talks so much about accountability and belief. This isn't empty talk. It's about survival. John Harbaugh knows it too. He knows the team needs an immediate response, something to restore confidence and stop the losing streak. And while the margin is small, there's still time to react. The question is whether the team can pull together enough to start this turnaround before the bye week. Because if they hit 1-5, the climb to the playoffs becomes nearly impossible. But this is exactly what makes the NFL so unpredictable. Teams everyone counts out find strength no one expected, and leaders emerge when all seems lost. That's what Henry is betting on. The idea that the comeback can start precisely when the world doubts it most. And if this win comes, the impact could go beyond the standings. It could reignite the locker room and restore the feeling that there's still something to fight for, the fuel that will be essential in the weeks ahead. Derrick Henry believes, even with the team battered, fans discouraged and the season slipping away, he keeps faith that a turnaround is still possible. And when he speaks, it's not just about football, it's about believing when no one else does. That's the essence of a true leader, being the voice that stays firm when the outside noise tries to drown out hope. But Henry also knows believing isn't enough. He made it clear the response must happen on the field on Sundays, where it all gets decided. That's where words become action, where speeches gain weight. Baltimore needs to show grit, discipline, and heart, everything that's been missing in recent weeks. And if they can put that into practice, even a 1-4 start can become the beginning of a story of resilience. The difference now is tone. No more promises, only effort. Henry wants to see commitment in every practice, every snap, every play. The team knows this is the moment to decide whether to fold under crisis or fight until the end. And when this kind of energy spreads, it can transform an entire group. Amid all this turbulence, Henry's faith keeps the team breathing. It's the last thread connecting Baltimore to the idea that the season can still be saved. It may seem small, but sometimes that's exactly what keeps a team going. And if the spirit truly spreads, the Ravens may discover there's still so much more to fight for, starting with the next game, where we'll all be tested on the field. Henry's speech comes at a time when Baltimore needed someone to believe more than ever. With the team sinking in doubt, injuries, and pressure, he became the voice of resistance, reminding everyone there's still time and that the turnaround starts inside the locker room. This kind of quiet, firm, true leadership can change the course of an entire season. Now, it all comes down to how the team responds. Henry's faith can spark the group and reignite the fighting spirit, but only the coming weeks will show if that flame turns into results. The big question remains: will this powerful message mark the turning point for the Ravens in 2025? One thing is certain: if anyone still believes, that person is Derrick Henry.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.